Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. So we had a busy weekend, running around, sourcing out of town, and the bowling tournament, so many things going on. And all along the way, we were selling items, 41 in total. No huge sales, but bread and butter, small items that all add up. I actually started a sale in my store, marked a lot of items that I'm ready to see move out 30% off. So if you've been eyeing something, go check it out. There are deals to be had. Our first item that we're shipping out is this Monet double circle brooch. And this was a yard sale pickup, only paid $0.25 for it. It sold for $9.31. Now we have a belt going out, and this was a bins find. Luckily, being white, it didn't get too destroyed at the bins. It's gotta be easy to find. I don't have very many white belts. This is a Dickies web belt that, like I said, I found at the bins in relatively good condition, and it's branded on the belt itself and on the buckle. I paid about $1 by weight. It sold for $12. Now, I consider one of my toxic traits as a reseller is to buy things in this bin down here. I love finding fly swatters and back scratchers. They're usually pretty cheap at estate sales, so I almost always grab them if they're in good shape and they're old. Problem is, they don't sell very fast, and when they do, they're a little difficult to ship, but we'll figure it out. This orange butterfly we paid 50 cents for, sold for $8. Now we have a VHS tape going out, and this also came from the bins. Pretty much anytime I find any of the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s VHS for kids, I pick it up. This one even has the little book with it. This is Barney and Mother Goose Rhymes. Paid $0.25, it sold for $9.95. Now we're heading over to our flatware, and I haven't been picking up very much flatware lately, but if it's interesting, like this set of 3 scallop spoons, which are actually all different brands. I tend to pick them up because, well, they're cool looking, and somebody might want to use them for hosting and serving things. I paid 57 cents, 19 cents a piece, and they sold for $11.01. And I got those at my local Goodwill. Now we're looking for a bear. And I know it's loose. There she is. This is a Calico Critters flocked nurse bear. Something about flocked animals that just bring back all the vibes of my childhood. Paid 50 cents at an estate sale, it sold for $9. And this is almost always a pickup for me if it has all the parts. This is a Tupperware pickle keeper in avocado green, which is the right color as well, and it's got the insert to lift the pickles out of the tray. I paid $1 at a yard sale, it sold for $17.95. Alright, we have one of our Star Wars figures going out from that thrift store big box that we bought. And good thing is, there's a lot of them here, and they're not going to really move fast, but we're already well into the profit on these, so now it's just profit sitting there until it sells. I paid about 10 cents for the Star Wars Battle Droid, and it sold for $7.95. Now we've got to climb up to our Christmas linens box and get down these placemats, which are that kind of tapestry design, and they say on it, "'Twas the night before Christmas," and there's like a teddy bear on a rocking horse. Very cute. Paid $1 for the set. It sold for $13.56. Now this was a very recent find. We went to a yard sale that we go to almost every year. We've been going for a couple of years now. Person sells a lot of puzzles, so I pick up a bunch for my mom there. But they had this vintage 1982 Epcot keychain for a dime, and it sold for $11.95. I love when you go to a yard sale and you see the dime stickers are being used. You know you're going to find some good stuff and probably some old stuff. Now this marble ashtray came from an estate sale, which was almost like a hoarder house situation. Look, it weighs 6 pounds. We paid $30 for everything at that sale, so I paid about $1 for this ashtray. It sold for $49.95 and definitely was our best sale of the weekend. It is heavy, and we're going to have to pack it tight because we don't want it moving around in the box. Now this lot is 6 Mass Singer Happy Meal toys from McDonald's. We paid $0.25 for them at the bins. They sold for $4.95. And now we have some playing cards going out, and they should be in a red box. The double deck, which my doubles are way in the back. Let's make sure these are the right ones. They are. So it says it's a canasta deck, but they are just standard playing cards because that's what you use for canasta. Pretty floral, crewel pattern. on them, very MCM, definitely old. You can see the age on the cards themselves. We paid $1 for the set. It sold for $10.46. This next item was a last minute pickup when I was checking out at an estate sale. I happened to see it lay near the jewelry, which I don't usually shop at estate sales, but this Raiders money clip was marked $1, so we picked it up. It sold for $10.46. Now I think this item's kind of funny. We have sold this before, but somebody canceled the order right before I was going to ship it, and so it's already bagged. This is a laptop bag, new old stock. We paid $2. It sold for $14. We have a set of Pez dispensers going out now, the Lion King. You guys have seen me sell these multiple times. This is the first set they came out with, and it sold for $5.91. Now we're heading over to our jewelry box, and this item came from a box I picked up on a highway sale, paid $10 for the whole box, and we have more than made our money back on the total purchase there. So everything else just adds up, and this is a pretty little floral brass cuff inlaid with something, but I don't know what it is. I hope it's not ivory. Hopefully it's just some sort of stone. Paid $1. It sold for $20. Do you guys hate when you get something and it has a certain material in it and the material makes you nervous but you don't know exactly what it is? That's what that bracelet did to me. Now we have a hat from the bins going out, and this is a Puerto Rico baseball World Classic New Era fitted hat. We got this at the bins for only $0.25, and it sold for $15.37. Now we're heading over to our greeting card / stationery box, and that's what we're picking out now is some stationery. This is Hallmark branded letter paper. It's got this little ruler on the side, which is kind of cool, but I like the inside of the envelopes. The envelopes match it. Unfortunately, it doesn't have its original box, but we were able to pick this up at an estate sale for $0.25, and the set sold for $8.46. Now we're heading to grab a DVD box set, and my key to buying DVD box sets is looking for shows that are not available on streaming platforms. Sealed is always better, and in this case, this is something I've never even heard of, so I thought definitely worth checking the comps on. I paid 99 cents. It sold for $12.57 on sale. Now, one of my favorite things that I've picked over the last year, just because they give me a very nostalgic memory of going to the roller skating rink when I was a kid, is a pair of shoelaces. We got a bunch of these for $1 at a highway sale, so I paid about 10 cents for this pair, and it sold for $6. Now we have a sticker going out, and I know exactly where it is. It's back in that little purple box to keep it safe. This is a McDonald F-15 Eagle Fighter decal. Paid 10 cents. It sold for $7.95. And we're heading back to the same box. This time we are grabbing a lot of 2 souvenir books. These are like little plastic bound like souvenir cards or pictures that you would get when you travel different places. We have the Grand Canyon in Washington, D.C. These are around the era of the 60s. Paid $0.25 for both. They sold for $9.07. We found those at the bins, so super lightweight, super cheap. Now we have a tin going out, and it's this guy up here, which I wasn't sure if he was going to sell or not, but it seems like the right buyer found him. This is a Russell Stover's Valentine's Heart Elvis tin. It's empty. Paid 10 cents at the bins. It sold for $7.95. And that buyer is Miss Tracy, and she also picked up another item, which was a very recent find for us. We grabbed this CD box set at an estate sale out of town just 2 weeks ago, and it's only been listed a few days. It is a 4-pack of Elvis gospel music, which is very cool. We paid $1 for it, and it sold to Miss Tracy for $16.96. Thank you for your order, Miss Tracy. Thank you very much. Now we're heading over to our trinket shelf, and we are looking for a porcelain animal. Ceramic, porcelain. You ever get confused on which word to use? Sometimes I just use them both. This is a Russ Berry skunk figure, and we picked this up at a private pick. I paid about 50 cents for it. It sold for $7 on offer. We have another hat going out, and unfortunately I uncovered it when I pulled the other hat out, so that was good luck. This is a Greensboro Grasshoppers minor league baseball team hat, and we found this at the bins when we were in Greensboro. Paid about a quarter by weight. It sold for $8.89. Speaking of the bins, this also came from there, and this is one of the few items I was actually tempted to keep, but I've said before, my family loves playing canasta, or they did, but don't really have anybody to play with me anymore, so I decided to sell it. This is a discarding pickup tray for canasta cards when you're playing, and it's really cool. It spins around, and it's this pretty amber color, and it's got glitter in it. Very, very neat vintage find, and I threw in this deck of cards to go with it. I paid a quarter by weight. It sold for $13.06. Now we're climbing up to our dishes bin, which I would love to see everything in here sell, and I probably would not end up refilling it because I don't love selling ceramic dishes, but this one was an exception. This tealish blue Fiesta plate we got for free at that house clean out, and so definitely a grab, and it sold for $12.71. Now we're heading down to our new old stock bins, and I'm not sure which one it's in, but we are looking for a bag of new old stock Diamond brand plastic clothespins. Look, I'm knocking everything down. And here they are. This is a bag of 24 clothespins, and there's 4 different colors in here. Very fun. Paid 10 cents at the bins. It sold for $6.76. And we have one more hat going out that also came from the bins. I'm telling you, it's the best place to pick up hats, especially if you're willing to clean them. This is a Virginia Tech ball cap, but it is a toddler size, which is kind of cool. When they're kid-size hats, make sure you make that very clear in the listing. We paid a quarter. It sold for $8.89. I hate to admit, but I have missed kid-size hats before and had to deal with the return. So you want to make sure you're checking that sort of thing. Now we have a Yankee Candle diffuser refill going out that we got for 59 cents at the thrift store. It sold for $8.89. This next item is always a pickup for me. It is this Tervis handle. This is for the 24-ounce size Tervis cup. We got this at a yard sale, actually on a cup. Only paid a quarter for it. It sold for $14.41, and the cup was pretty good too, so we actually listed that as well. But listing them separate is the way to go for sure. Now we have this Myrtle Beach pennant that we got at an estate sale in South Carolina. This is a tiny little one, and it definitely has some wear to it, but definitely worth selling. Paid about 50 cents for it. It sold for $14.95. Now we're heading over to our linen cabinet, and my bowling stuff is all in the way. We might be able to reach what we're looking for here. I think I'm gonna have to go get my step stool, and I did. And here's what we're looking for. This is a set of 2 floral cloth dinner napkins. Found these in an estate sale linen closet, and they're actually really thin, so they might be like handkerchief material. We paid a quarter a piece, so 50 cents, and they sold for $10.46. Now, if you're a reseller, make sure you lock this image of these things into your head because they are a definite bolo. These empty Scotch Magic Tape tins, we only paid 50 cents for these, and they sold for $16.96, and this is the second set we've sold in like 2 weeks. So pretty good money if you can get them cheap enough. A quick, easy flip. Now, this item I thought was a TV remote control, but somebody messaged me and said it's a garage door opener. Definitely vintage, kind of space age look to it. Either way, very cool. Paid $1, it sold for 10. I couldn't find anything like it on the internet, so I just kind of went with my instincts and said it was a TV remote, but who knows. Now this is a European Shrek Donkey silver Pez dispenser that sold for $11.50. That was a limited edition when the second Shrek was released, I believe. Now we have a really pretty frog figurine going out, and this is a Mexican Tonala souvenir item. I love the way he looks. I paid $1, he sold for 10, and he came from a yard sale. Now we have a license plate frame going out that we picked up at a local thrift store for 99 cents. And these metal license plate frames, if they're in good shape, they're usually worth picking up. They may not sell fast, but they usually do sell. It sold for $14.95. And our last item of the 41 items that we shipped yesterday on Monday is going to be a light switch cover, which obviously I tried to protect the best I could in storing it, so we'll throw a picture up here. We paid $1 and it sold for $12.95. So yesterday was clearly a very busy day of pulling and packing. We have $23.24 into all of these items, and they sold for $493.12 over the weekend, which is 21 times our money and a nice bread and butter weekend of sales. So now that they're all packed up, we're going to start working on some more listings. See you guys soon with another video of what's sold.